日本時間18日、ロサンゼルスのドジャースタジアムで行われたサンディエゴパドレス戦において、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手が1番 DH で先発出場しました。試合は3回、大谷選手が死球を受ける場面があり、これに激怒したデーブ・ロバーツ監督が退場処分となりました。ロバーツ監督の退場は通算13度目です。問題の場面は、3回1死で迎えた大谷選手の第2打席。パドレスの先発ランディ・バスケス投手が投じた2球目の速球が、大谷選手の右太もも付近に直撃しました。前の回には、ドジャースのルー・トリビノ投手がフェルナンド・タティス・ジュニア、外野手に死球を与えており、これが試合の緊張感を高めていました。これに対し、ロバーツ監督は三塁側ベンチから飛び出し、両手を広げるなどして激しく抗議。しかし判定は覆らず、スタジアムには大きなブーイングが響きました。両軍には警告が出され、ロバーツ監督には退場処分が言い渡されました。ドジャースの地元放送局、スポーツネット LA の解説陣もこの出来事に言及。死球の応酬は昔ながらの野球文化であり、一人やられたら二人やり返すといった考え方が背景にあると指摘しました。また、大谷選手への死球については、足への投球という点から見ても、故意ではあるが致命傷を避けるメッセージ性が強いとの見解が示されました。この様子を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。また、同日の試合前に放送された中継番組でも、前日に行われた大谷選手の投球復帰をテーマに多くの時間が割かれました。番組内でインタビューに応じたタイラー・グラスノー投手は、大谷選手をスーパーヒーローのようだと例え、投打の実力だけでなく、感情のコントロールや日々の安定した姿勢についても高く評価しました。また、エメット・シーハン投手も登板前のインタビューで、大谷選手がマウンドに上がった際、ダグアウトの全員が立ち上がって注目していた光景に驚いたと明かしています。これらの模様も、日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
What did Shohei Ohtani say last year after they won the first one? He said, let's do this 9 more times because he is under contract for 9 more years here with the Dodgers. Speaking of that man, Shohei Ohtani, he pitched in the game, in case you didn't hear about it, pitched in the game for the first time in 663 days last night. It was an abbreviated start, only 1 inning, 28 pitches thrown, 10 of them were sweepers, 9 four-seamers. The one big difference in the arsenal last night compared to when he pitched in 2023, he didn't throw any cutters, and the sinker, which he only used about 5% of the time 2 years ago, was up to 28.6%. He threw 8 sinkers last night and 1 splitter. Now, he hadn't thrown in any minor league rehab games. It's just some live BP, Jerry, just some simulated games. What was your biggest takeaway from Shohei last night in his first game back on the mound?
Well, the first thing I thought of, he's healthy because he ran that fastball to 99, 100 miles an hour. Listen, he wasn't as sharp, but also there was some soft contact here. A blooper that landed in for a base hit. He had a swing and miss against Machado. Should have been a strikeout. A sacrifice fly that probably has made it close with that rock of an arm. But listen, you knew the rust would be there, especially glove side. Okay, but I love that he's healthy. I love that he's feeling great. More to come.
Yeah, this is a first step. He didn't have any rehab. Like you said, just simulated game. So he's going out there on a big league mound and facing a good big league team and doing that. I mean, yeah, he threw 28 pitches in that 1 inning, but 16 of them were strikes. So that's a good thing. And yet he still wasn't as sharp, and he probably wants to be better with his command, but that's going to come. All in all, I think it was great. I think the bigger question is, how does he feel today?
Yes. And we'll have more from Dave Roberts on how exactly Shohei Ohtani feels coming up in just a few moments. But it was a historic night here at the Ravinas. All eyes were on Shohei Ohtani. This tweet from MLB Communications: Monday night's NL West showdown between the Padres and Dodgers marked the most watched game in MLB TV history, with viewership eclipsing the previous single game high by 28%. So maybe the Dodgers aren't bad for baseball after all, huh? They had record numbers to watch Shohei pitch last night. Yeah. Pretty much everybody here at the stadium was in their seat at the start of the game because they didn't want to miss any of what he was going to do in his first game on the mound. Right now, let's head inside the stadium for the first time. David Vassay has more on the return of Shohei Ohtani, and he joins us live inside. Hi there, DV.
Hey, John, thank you. Yes, Shohei Ohtani was pleased to be back out on the mound, but obviously he wanted to perform a little bit better. We'll hear from Shohei in a moment, but I was standing right next to the best orthopedic surgeon in the world, Dr. Neil Elatrash, who performed both elbow surgeries on Shohei Ohtani, and he was like an expectant father, and that's the first thing that Shohei Ohtani said last night after the game. He wanted to thank everybody that took part in helping him get back on the mound, and certainly Dr. Neil Elatrash was a big part of that.
Feeling good. I think he's just a little fatigued, but feels good in there tonight. Don't know when he's going to pitch again. So it's kind of, he'll probably do like a, touch and feel, sometime this week. And then, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, something like that, it's kind of the week situation, but it's not like a hard and fast 7 days.
Did Dave Roberts just name every day of the week? Obviously, the Dodgers don't want to tip their hand, and this is uncharted territory to have a pitcher, let alone a two-way player, finish up his rehab by pitching in major league games. So that's part of the reason why Dave Roberts didn't want to box himself in. But if we're talking once a week, we're talking a Sunday day game after a night game, or Ohtani possibly pitching at Coors Field next week on the upcoming road trip.
But all along, Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman, they have maintained and they have said no more that the goal is to have Shohei strong and healthy to pitch in big games down the stretch and, of course, in the month of October. So we're just in mid-June. He's starting his buildup at this point. What do you think that buildup's going to look like going forward?
Well, obviously, we saw the one inning, but it's really going to be how he feels. I mean, it's really easy to say, okay, we'll just set up a schedule, but it just doesn't work that way. This is something unique that nobody's ever seen before. It's one thing you can do that down in a rehab in the minors and say, okay, well, we only to get one inning. You're going to pitch 5 days later. We're going to try to get 2 out of you, or here's the amount of pitches. But obviously, this is a big league setting, and he's also hitting. So it's going to be a lot different. And I think the challenge also is what you're going to be doing again to this bullpen, right? You're going to have to see how that goes too with the bullpen. You're going to be asking them the times, the days that he's going to pitch to try to fill in those days. I know we had Ben Kasparius. Is it always going to be Ben Kasparius Day? He's now getting in the rotation. What does that look like? And Dave Roberts is going to have to know as well, because he's got a plan too, just how he's going to manage certain games, building up to some of the games that he's going to be starting, knowing that he's going to have to utilize some of those guys in the bullpen. So it's not an easy situation. It's really hard to just say, oh, here it is, it's written on paper. I'm sure they have some sort of plan, written out, but it doesn't, I think it's in pencil. It's not definitely in ink, because there's possibly going to be erasing quite a bit of it.
It's another thing. You mentioned Nomar. This is a very unique situation. Yes, we're going to be building him up next start, possibly 2 innings. He will be on a pitch count, and I think the next 3 or 4 or 5 starts. That being said, it's all about him also being an everyday leadoff hitter. So you got to see how his legs are feeling, playing every single day. This guy's going to have 700 plate appearances. That is taxing on your legs. So you got to understand, you got to be able to monitor. So like Nomar talked about, it has to be in pencil, because it's all about how Shohei Ohtani is feeling on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's like, do you really want him to pitch a day game after a night game after he just played that night, and come back and pitch and then still play that day and do both? Or is you want to give him more of a recovery? So all that's going to be factoring in.
Plus, he was fatigued after pitching just 1 inning. How is he going to feel after pitching 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 innings of a game? I go back to a couple of Decembers ago. Shohei Ohtani announces he's going to sign with the Dodgers. Then he gets on the phone, maybe leaves a message for you, says, hey, I want to hit some homers for you. He was trying to get you to come here to the Dodgers and sign an extension with the Dodgers. Last night, though, was the first time we got a chance to see him pitch, and it was an amazing scene here at the stadium as we're walking on the concourse. Everybody standing up. Everybody's already in their seats for first pitch of the game. They didn't want to miss any of it. What was the buzz like maybe inside the clubhouse or in the dugout? Was it similar to what the fans were feeling out here as you guys got a chance to watch him do both for the first time here?
Yeah, it was. I think, it was sitting down here looking at like the lower bowl. Everyone was standing up. It was pretty unique. It kind of had like that. Everyone was in their seats before the game started, which is like kind of more of like a playoff vibe. So everyone was super excited to come watch him pitch. And it felt, I guess it's maybe business as usual in the dugout. Like we all know what he's capable of, and we've seen him pitch not in a Dodger uniform, but like it's Shohei, So we were all really excited to watch him. He went out there, throws 100 like a superhero, and we're all just, it's at this point where none of us are really shocked. So we're just excited to have him stretch out, get a bunch of starters back, and kind of have our team assembled, you know?
You know, Tyler, you know, really my question is about Shohei as well. You know, you've got a chance to see him on the other side when he pitched 6 seasons for the Angels. And listen, my opinion, he is the best athlete in the world, not just baseball player. He is the best athlete in the world. You know how difficult and how taxing it is to be a pitcher, to be able to throw 100 miles an hour and start every 5th or 6th, 7th day. But he's also hitting as well. Can you kind of talk about that, the difficulty of seeing and watching Shohei do both at such a high level?
Yeah, honestly, I can't even talk about it because all I do is pitch, and like he does both. So like from personal experience, I have no clue. From afar, it's really impressive to watch, and I think the thing that to me is more impressive than just him hitting and pitching is like the consistency and like emotion and just him as a person every day. I think anyone who's played can understand like how up and down a season can be. And I think whether he's doing bad or doing good, he's just always consistent, always a good teammate, good person. And yeah, it's just been fun to watch on both sides of the ball for his whole career.
You watch games like last night, Ohtani making his pitching debut at the Dodgers. Were you caught up in the fandom like everybody else here?
Yeah, definitely. It was crazy to watch. I was, you know, to see him go out and do that was insane. I'm just happy I'm here to see it.
And what was the vibe amongst the team on the bench? It felt like there was standing room only in the dugout.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was. Everyone was just up on the top rail. You saw everyone in the bowl was standing up too the whole time. Everyone's hanging on every pitch, so that's kind of how it was down here too.
Well, it'll be like that tomorrow night for you, Emmett Sheehan.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
You're thinking about picking up a bat and telling Dave, you know, hey, we don't need the DH tonight. We don't need Ohtani tonight. I'm taking the lumber.
I don't know. I'm not too good of a hitter. I got a 500 on base in pro ball though, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who's counting?
No one, probably.
And he gets hit. All right, so that one's a little fishier. What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
That's 100% on purpose.
Okay.
But that's one of the things. Look at the other night, or Tatis just got hit, right? And whether it's on purpose or not on purpose, you know, one of the things, and see, these guys all know it was on purpose, so they're going to issue warning. One of the things that, you know, back in the day that managers used to do, especially like Tony La Russa, you hit one of my guys, I don't care if it's on purpose or not, 2 guys are going to get hit. You want to go back to Dodger history? Big D, Don Drysdale. One of our guys get hit, 2 of your guys are getting hit.
Marvin Hudson, the crew chief, issuing those warnings. Dave Roberts not happy.
Yeah, because he wants to, I mean, look at it. He's got to fight for his team. Yeah, they say, what? Essentially, it's like, why don't we get a shot now?
Wouldn't the answer to that be you already did, like from the umpire's
100%,
standpoint?
right. And the point is whether or not, like, do I think Trevino was trying to hit Tatis? 100% no. But the fact is, you hit theoretically our best guy. Hey, you know what? I mean, got to have some better control.
All right, so this all, whether it was intentional or not, optically started last night, and everybody's agreed that this was not intentional. But it's a fastball, 97, that hurts.
Right, 100%.
And this is all with the backstory that these teams have met a bunch the last couple weeks. The further backstory that they don't like each other very much because of recent years, heightened intensity in this rivalry, and then back-to-back innings, superstar players wearing it. Dave Roberts just got thrown out of this game. First ejection this season of Dave Roberts.
I mean, he's 100% right that he should get, like, I'm not sure that there should have been a warning issue, right? I mean, no warning. Let him play ball and let things get taken care of. But the minute you issue a warning, now you take everything away from being able to pitch inside. I mean, Doc's 100% right. You know, if you're looking this thing and you're not trying to take sides or anything, you look at it and you're saying, one guy got hit in the middle of the back, and that's Tatis Jr. And Shohei, again, I'm not saying it's right or whatever, but they hit him, and I believe it was 100% on purpose. They hit him in the leg. And so that is the way things used to be done. Shohei's just like, hey, look, it wasn't in the ribs. Hey, I can tell you some guys that got hit in the ribs, broken ribs, and you're done. Like, done.
So Doc ejected for the first time this year, the 13th time in his decade with the Dodgers.
To kind of give an overview, Andy was hit last night. I feel he overreacted. We moved on. We ended up hitting a player, Tatis, unintentional. In that spot, we don't want a guy on base, certainly him, bleeding into their, to their guys in the middle part of the order. And then at that point in time, Shohei comes up with the base open, and Vasquez took one shot at him, and then hit him again. And it's very hard to miss that bad with a right-handed pitcher. So for me, it's, if you're going to do it, own it, and there's no misfire, right? And then I just felt that I didn't feel a warning on both sides was warranted, number one. And so I just wanted to know an explanation. I wanted an explanation on their thought process. I didn't come in hot. I just wanted to know why they issued. And at that point in time, I realized later I got tossed, which I didn't understand or appreciate. And even looking back and to see Mike get the opportunity to talk to umpires after I was tossed and their explanation, and he was still in the game. So I think what anyone wants is consistency, right? And so for me is I wanted an explanation, what's going on forward in their decision making, and I got run. And so for me, it's just there was no consistency, and I just wanted feel for the game, and that's what I asked for, and I feel we didn't get it. Absolutely. I mean, this guy, he hasn't come close. And for me, it's like if they feel that's warranted on their side, part of baseball, if that's what they feel, and I give them credit because they hit him in the leg, own it. And we move on. But it's not a misfire. I do feel it was intentional. And again, that's part of baseball, which we all understand. Marvin told me I got tossed kind of when I was trying to question. And yeah. I'm a big lack of consistency. I'm very big on common sense. And so for me, for them to issue warnings, I feel it's common sense for me to ask their thought process and hold them accountable to their decision. That's all I wanted to know. And I was going to stand aside. And then again, I see the opposing manager get the same courtesy of explanation and stays in the game. So there's just no consistency with that. So that's kind of my, but again, back to the game or to the game, I thought we fought, guys laid it out there. The pitching, we found a way. Will had a huge night. Andy had a huge night, big defensive plays. And it was a fun game, unfortunately, to watch from my office. But our guys really played well, and Mark and Danny from the bench did a fantastic job of managing the pen, and huge win.